Huh. All right, guys. Namaste. This is Christian Long with the Inner Transformation Group, and this is my very first YouTube live stream, which is bonkers to me, considering I've done hundreds of hours on Facebook Lives. I've done dozens and dozens of hours on Periscope Live. This is my first time doing live on YouTube. So building up my YouTube channel. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers, which is exciting, and we're just continuing to build it out and getting feedback and getting comments and questions and what have you. But in today's live stream, I just wanted to answer the question, what is pranic healing, and actually give you guys a live demo of pranic healing in action. So pranic healing, I've been honored enough and blessed enough to have been a practitioner of it for the past 20 years, since 2004. Pranic healing is the world's most comprehensive system of energy medicine that utilizes prana, or energy, to accelerate the body's natural ability to heal itself. So for instance, if you were to break a bone, and where I used to live in Denver, Colorado, people broke a lot of bones because of skiing, hiking, snowboarding, mountain biking, and those issues need to be resolved for most people most of the time if you're living in Colorado, living the outdoor lifestyle. And so if you were to break the biggest bone in your body, the femur, and it's a clean break, it's typically going to take about 8 to 10 weeks for the bones to fuse together and able to put some weight on it. Using a pranic healing protocol for broken bones, we can accelerate the healing rate from 10 to 8 weeks down to 4 to 5 weeks, right? So we can cut the time in half because we're supplying the energy body with more prana that the physical body absorbs to heal itself faster. Right? So pranic healing is very good for physical ailments and conditions like broken bones, bloody noses, toothaches, headaches, sinusitis, sciatica, strains, sprains, all kinds of things in the physical body. Where I specialize in pranic healing is the emotional and psychological aspects of addictions, phobias, depression, anxiety, suicidal tendencies, things like that. So that's what I work on in pranic healing. And I've been doing that for 20 years. So in essence, I always see people when they're kind of like at a crossroads in their life and they're not quite sure what's the next step for them, or their life is completely fallen apart. They're at rock bottom. They lost their job. Their spouse walked out on them. They're filing for bankruptcy. Their business is imploded, or some major catastrophic things have happened to them. Right, so that's typically when I see people for healing. But what's really, really amazing is my teacher said this many years ago, many times, that if you change the energy, the person changes. So if a person is full of anxiety, stress, depression, overwhelm, and you remove those energies from that person, they're naturally going to have greater clarity, greater certainty, greater hope and faith, and optimism to actually accomplish what they need to accomplish. I remember Anthony Robbins would say business, and you can relate this to life, business is 20% mechanics, right? 20% mechanics and 80% mindset, right? So relating it to the world of energy, if you change somebody's energy, hey Dowd, Namaste, how are you? Snake, Namaste, how are you? This is my first time doing a live stream on YouTube. I have done hundreds of hours of streams live, but never on YouTube. So mixing it up, trying something different, right? Getting new feedback. We're just talking about pranic healing, what pranic healing is, how it helps people heal, how it helps transform people's lives, and we're going to do a quick demo of what it looks like. Nice. Drift up, namaste. Oh, thanks for the warm fuzzies. So you can use pranic healing to transform people's lives using energy, right? So as my teacher would say, you change the energy, you change the person. Marcus, Namaste, how are you? Oh, watching from San Diego. I remember for the longest time I wanted to go to San Diego. For 20 years it was on my bucket list as a teenager. I was like, I can't wait to go to San Diego. I can't wait to go to San Diego. I can't wait to go to San Diego. And then eventually there was a pranic healing and Arhatic yoga retreat in San Diego. I think the first and only time it had been held in San Diego, and was able to go there for the first time and had a blast. So good to have you guys on. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with the group. So basically, that's a little bit of the backstory of what pranic healing is, The founder of Pranic healing is my teacher, Grandmaster Cho Koksui, who was a very successful businessman. He's Chinese Filipino, raised in the Philippines, but basically for about 30 years, he was practicing, developing, refining, and spreading pranic healing around the world to over 60 countries in his lifetime. And now pranic healing is practiced in over 90 countries around the world. And then he also developed, refined, and spread a yoga system known as Arhatic yoga. If you don't say it properly, it's okay. Nobody ever says it properly. Even people I know who've been practicing Arhatic yoga for years still don't pronounce it properly. So it's Arhatic yoga. Arhat in Buddhism means saint. So you have Christian saints, you have Buddhist saints. They're called Arhats. Okay. Bakanyoni, Namaste, welcome. And so he basically developed pranic healing in the most fascinating way imaginable. He found people in the Philippines who could see energy. Found people who can see energy. These people are known as clairvoyants. Means clear seeing. People who can see energy. And so he did this interesting experiment. He would go to one part of town. Somebody would come in with a condition, a migraine headache, for instance, keeping it simple. They would sit in a chair, and without telling the clairvoyant what the person's condition was, he would say, "What do you see in this person's energy?" And the clairvoyant would say, "Oh, the head looks dim. It has these colored energies. The midsection looks dim. It has these colored energies. The lower body looks dim, has these colored energies." Would describe energetically what they see. So then Master Cho would start doing a protocol to remove the disease congested energy from that person's energy body, and then ask the clairvoyant, "What are you seeing in real time?" And then Master Cho would make notes. Then he would go to another part of town. He would have a person with a similar condition, a migraine headache, come, and he would ask the clairvoyant the same thing. This new clairvoyant, "What do you see?" And then over time, he would cross-reference what clairvoyant A said to what clairvoyant B said, and then he goes, "Interesting. So someone with a migraine headache looks like this energetically. And then when I did this protocol, the person's headache went away." He did this tens of thousands of times with all kinds of physical conditions and ailments, emotional conditions and ailments, psychological conditions and ailments, relationship condition and ailments, and financial condition and ailments. Hey mate, namaste, right? So it's really amazing what he was able to do. So in that process of trial and error and getting feedback, he developed a recipe book of healing protocols that you don't have to be a natural born healer, you don't have to be clairvoyant, you simply learn the technique, you open up the book, you find the protocol that's appropriate to the condition the person has, and you do the healing, right? So if somebody has a migraine headache, you go into the book, migraine protocol. They have lower back pain, you go into the book, lower back pain protocol. They have eye issues, eye disorders, you go into the book and look for the protocol, right? And it's like a recipe. Just like if you want to make a cake and you don't know how to make a cake, you follow a recipe, and then if you follow the recipe, guess what? You get a cake, right? Makes sense? So it's really quite fascinating. So this is something I've been practicing for the past 20 years professionally. I've done over 6,000 one-on-one healings over the course of my profession and helping all kinds of people with all kinds of things. Usually when their life is falling apart, I typically see people at that time. But what I want to do over the next couple minutes is show you guys a live pranic healing session, what it looks like. And then over the next week, I'm going to be doing live sessions. You can come on, you can ask questions, you say, "Hey Christian, what about this? What about that? How does this work? How does that work?" And I'll do my best to answer the questions. And then if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you got value out of this, like you already are subscribed to the channel, send it out to a friend and see if they get value from it, and maybe they'll subscribe, okay? So what are some of the tools of the trade of a pranic healer? Now, I've been practicing for 20 years. Not everyone has these tools, and you don't need all these tools in order to be proficient as a healer of helping people, right? First one is a salt bowl. Just a bowl of water off to the side over here with 2 handfuls of salt in it, table salt. Nothing magical about it. Why salt? Why salt water? So water has a magnetic quality. It pulls things to it. Salt chops up energy. So if I'm doing a healing on somebody and I'm removing McLovin, namaste. If I'm removing disease-congested energy from somebody, I don't want to absorb it, and I don't want the environment that I'm doing healing in to absorb it, and the client definitely doesn't want that energy back. So what do you have to do with it? Get rid of it. So we have a bioplasmic disposal unit that we throw right there. Easy peasy. So that also keeps the healer clean because the healer's not absorbing the energy. The other tool that we have in the world of pranic healing is something called a laser crystal. Battle Vita, namaste. Wait, answer my question, please. I guess I missed it. What are your thoughts on Hinduism and their ancient advanced civilization? Yeah, I mean, the original religion, the oldest religion is Zoroastrianism, and Hinduism is right up there. And a lot of the teachings that I practice are also pulled from Hinduism, right? So there's, my teacher, Master Choa Koksui, used to say something that I've been meditating on for many, many years, that religion divides and spirituality unites. So what do I mean by that? If we start talking about this deity or this God or my God or your God, it starts dividing us, right? But spirituality transcends all of those teachings, meaning the great teachers who founded all the great religions throughout the planet were, how do I put this? They had the religion as a form to disseminate their teachings, but they weren't saying this is the only way, right? They're saying, they're all pointing to the same truth. All the great spiritual teachers throughout the entire world, throughout history, were all pointing at the same teachings and the same truths. The problem is, we as students, disciples, followers, we're looking at the fingers or the words the teacher is using, and we're getting lost in the fingers, but we're not looking at where the fingers are pointing. So all the great teachers are pointing at the same truth, but because we lack the awareness and lack the, you could say, intelligence, we get lost in the fingers and we argue about the fingers. So my goal with doing these live streams is to have us be more harmonized, be more unified, and say, hey, it doesn't matter if you're Hindu, if you're Buddhist, if you're Muslim, if you're an atheist, if you're agnostic, if you're a Christian, if you follow the rules of energy, the laws of energy, your life will transform. So my teacher would say, practicing pranic healing makes you a better Christian, makes you a better Muslim, makes you a better Christian. Just like if you practice exercise, you're still going to improve the quality of your health. You don't have to be a Buddhist to get the benefits of exercise. You don't have to be an atheist to get the benefits of exercise. Or if you're a Muslim, you can't get the benefits of exercise because you're a Muslim. Does that make sense? So we're talking about energy and energy only. Does that make sense? So I hope that answered your question a little bit better. It's a big question that you're asking. So the other tool, right? So we're talking about this as a laser crystal. You guys see this? This is one of the tools we use in pranic healing. This laser crystal basically amplifies, magnifies energy, and then focuses it at a point so it can go deeper into somebody's energy body to remove more of the disease-congested energies. Just like a scalpel that a surgeon would use, right? We could use a butcher knife, get the job done, but maybe not so pleasing and maybe causing more injury than good, right? So a laser crystal allows us to go deeper into the energy body. Now, can you heal somebody without a laser crystal? Absolutely. You just use your hand. The benefit of using the crystal is it's more powerful, it goes deeper into the energy body, and there's less contamination. Make sense? There's less contamination. So as I'm removing the disease-congested energy from somebody, there's less contamination. And then we put this into the salt water. So take it out of the energy body, put it into the salt water, and then lastly, we spray the disease-congested energy with this. It's isopropyl alcohol with water. Nothing magical about it. What is the purpose of this? As you're cleaning somebody's energy body, there's disease-congested energy in the crystal. Eventually, the crystal will become full, and then the disease energy will start permeating outside the crystal and going into the healer or going into the environment. So then we spray the crystal. Does it make sense? To keep it clean energetically. So for those of you who are on, and I see you guys kind of going in and out, for those of you who are on, who needs healing or who would like to experience healing? preferably something that you haven't had for the past 15, 20 years, right? Like, let's say you have lower back pain and it's been kind of weird this week. Let me know. Or you have some stress, or you have some irritability, or you have some fear about something. Put it in the comment section below, and then if I see anything, I'll reach out to you right now in real time, and we'll do healing on it. And then you can give me feedback. If nobody has any issues, then what I'm going to do is a healing on somebody I was working on earlier. Okay? So again, this is what a healing session looks like. That's funny that your name is someone. I like that. Yeah, so we started off this live healing answering the question, what is pranic healing? And pranic healing is a comprehensive system of energy medicine that utilizes prana, or energy, to accelerate the body's natural ability to heal itself. So I've been a practitioner of pranic healing for 20 years now. Can you heal anything? The only thing that pranic healing is not effective in, that I've seen over my 20 years of practicing, it's not effective with malnourishment. So if you're missing trace minerals in your body, if you're missing magnesium, calcium, iron, etc., we can't replace that. And then the second thing are viruses. So if somebody has a sexually transmitted disease or some kind of virus in their bloodstream, it's very difficult to remove it, if not impossible. But the interesting thing is we've been able to minimize the symptoms of that disease or of that virus. So that's a plus. So I hope that answers your question. Do you need something, do you need healing on something? Like right now, we'll do it in real time so you can experience it directly, because this live stream is to give people exposure to pranic healing, to give a little bit understanding of its methodology, and to actually show it in real time. So if you have something, let me know. And how does the healing work exactly? Well, I'll show you directly. Do you have something, a physical pain in your body? Do you have emotional issues? Do you have, now we're not trying to air out anyone's dirty laundry, right? This is an open forum. You can ask questions in real time, hopefully get answers in real time. But I want to give you an exposure to pranic healing in real time. I'll give you a second to respond. I don't know how long the delay is. But basically, the principle is, the main principles of pranic healing are cleansing, energizing, and stabilizing. So we go into the person's aura and their chakras, we clean them, then we supply the aura and the chakras with the fresh prana, we stabilize that prana in their system, and then the body absorbs that energy and heals itself faster. Okay, someone says, sure, my right shoulder could use some miracle healing. Okay, great. So this will give you guys an understanding of how it works. So your right shoulder hurts. Where in your right shoulder does it hurt? What kind of mobility do you have in your right shoulder? Like, does it hurt bringing it above your head? Does it hurt bringing it out in front? Does it hurt bringing it out behind? Does it hurt if you're not moving it at all? And then on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being unbelievably painful, and then 1 being no pain whatsoever, where is it right now? So this is part of the getting the feedback. So I, as a healer, know, okay, this is where it hurts. This is how bad it is. This is what the range of motion is. And then we do the protocol to help that person. So I'll give someone a second to respond. And then I'll show you guys something else as well that we do in pranic healing as like our energetic diagnostic tool. My shoulder just makes a weird clicking noise every time I move it up and down. Okay, so weird clicking noise. It kind of hurts, but not too bad. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really painful and 1 being no pain, what would you say it is? Like a 3 or a 4? Oh, a 6. Okay, so it does have some pain. Does it hurt when you move it? Or does it hurt no matter if you're still or moving? Oh, it hurts when you move. Okay, got it. Okay, so that gives me enough information, guys, that now I can connect to this person. So we're gonna do, so you're gonna watch a mini pranic healing session in real time. Okay, so I'll kind of explain the steps as I'm doing them. So every pranic healing session starts with an invocation. What's an invocation? It's basically asking God and the great teachers for help to make sure that we're doing it right, and there's any mistakes that happen are divine mistakes, right? So we'll do a quick invocation. Okay. So we did the invocation, and so now what I'm going to do is called scanning. What's scanning? Scanning is feeling the energy body of another person, another thing, another place. Everything has energy, right? So even though this person is somewhere in the world, right? I don't know where you are, I don't know the time zone, it doesn't matter, I don't need to know. I'm going to connect to this person through intention, right? Just like you can connect to a pet, a loved one, a friend, right? You ever had the experience that you're sitting by yourself quietly in your room, and then all of a sudden you're thinking of a friend, and then all of a sudden 2 minutes later they call you? Because there's an energetic connection before. The person had the intention of you, they connect to your energy body, and then they call you up physically, okay? So this person, we're gonna scan their energy body. So far, the thing I can most ascertain is that you have some kind of spiritual bend. Like, how do I put this? Like you have an interest in spirituality. And I think you're maybe having some problems being grounded in your life. That's just my quick assessment. You don't mind if I share, right? Because you're on the live stream and you're asking for healing. So if you don't want me to share anything, then just say, hey, Christian, just do the healing, right? So now I'm going to scan the chakras. So basically, I'm looking for certain energies. So as I go through the energy body and as I go through the chakras, I'm feeling for warmth, heat, coolness, itchiness, congestion, depletion. I'm looking for different things as I'm going through the energy body, and how it feels tells me what the person's ailment could be, condition could be, right? It's easier if you just say, hey, this is my condition, and then I can go right to it. This requires a bit more time, and we're just kind of doing this for sake of explanation, right? I'm not just going to go right to someone's shoulder, the person who's coming for healing, because I want to see what other factors might be there. It kind of hurts, but not moving, huh? Share whatever you feel. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the upper chakras seem to be activated. Activated just means open. They're all open. All the chakras are open. There's a misnomer of saying a chakra's closed or open. It just means to what degree is it open, right? All the chakras are open. It's kind of like saying, oh, my kundalini got awakened. Everyone's kundalini is awakened. If it wasn't, you'd be dead, right? So the upper chakras are more activated than the lower chakras. There's a lot of energy in the lower chakras, but the lower chakras are congested and they seem dirty, right? So we're going to do a little bit of healing. So we're kind of doing a general healing on you, and then we're also going to do some healing on the shoulder, and then you just give me feedback. You're like, hey, it went from a 6 to a whatever, right? So this is just me disconnecting you from things that could be draining you, could be congesting you, etc. So now we're cleaning the energy body from top to bottom. And again, all this, I mean, I've been doing it for 20 years, but most of the main principles are taught in the first class, a weekend class. And then as we do healing throughout, we're going to be scanning throughout. And scanning is to verify and validate, is the area becoming cleaner? Is it becoming brighter? Is there more congestion coming out? Right? What's happening? And then what I suggest people do when they get healing is use an affirmation while they're getting healing. You can just say it a couple times. You don't have to say it throughout. You can if you want. But the affirmation is, I am super conductive and super receptive to the divine blessings and healing energies. Because when it comes to energy, you have to consider conductivity and receptivity. If somebody has mental resistance, emotional resistance, or physical resistance, it's going to be harder for them to get healing, right? Harder for them to get healing. So you want them to have the least amount of resistance as possible, which a great time to heal people is actually when they're sleeping because they have less resistance. Okay, so now we got the right shoulder here. So let's compare energy of the right shoulder, energy of the left shoulder, right? Because we're comparing the two arms. The energy is more dense in the right shoulder, but there's not a huge difference between the right and left shoulders. Okay, so one of my favorite things when I first started pranic healing was watching the senior practitioners do healing on people. Because as an empath, right, someone who is sensitive to energy, I could just watch and feel the healing taking place for the person who was getting healing, even though I was sitting, 2 or 3 rows away. Pranic healing is a very dynamic healing modality, right? There's a lot of things happening in the space. Is there any way proven by science? Yes. So if you go to Pranic Healing Research Institute, there are scientific studies that we've won awards in of pranic healing being used in hospitals. Good question. Again, it's Pranic Healing Research Institute. So right now we're cleaning the shoulder area. And what are we doing? We're removing the disease-congested energy that may be causing the condition. So then we rescan. It's cleaner. Stuff's coming out too, but it's much cleaner. So it's kind of like a dam energetically. So we're kind of like poking, breaking up things in the energy body, and then some of that disease, congested energy can just flow out really quickly from the person. And we call it psychic diarrhea. Okay, so now we scan. So again, we cleanse an area. 70 to 80% of pranic healing is cleansing. We cleanse a part of the person's energy body. their etheric body, emotional body, mental body, what have you. Okay. Your views on Hinduism and their ancient and advanced technology. Wait. Did you see the comment I made earlier? Battle Vita? Okay, so now we cleanse the area. So now we're going to energize the area. Okay. So someone, if you could close your eyes and just mentally say, thank you for the healing. You're not saying it to me. I don't need the whatever, the accolades. It's not coming to me. It's going to God. And just say, thank you for the healing. Thank you for the healing. Thank you for the healing. And just be, just sit still for a second afterwards. Scanning is one of the most invaluable tools in the arsenal of pranic healing because it helps you develop discernment, because through scanning you can feel things. You can validate for yourself, oh, does the area feel clean? Does it feel congested? Does it feel heavy, sharp, itchy, depleted, etc.? And then as you're doing the healing, you can keep validating for yourself. It still feels a little bit too heavy, doesn't feel clean enough, doesn't feel right. So we just keep cleaning, cleaning, cleaning. And as one of my teachers would say, you can never clean too much, right? Because we're constantly generating thoughts, feelings, energies that need to be removed from our system, okay? So the spray bottle contains isopropyl alcohol and water. So it's about that much isopropyl alcohol, and then the rest is water. This has green energy. So water, and primarily alcohol, has green energy, and green energy has a cleansing effect. It's kind of like Clorox bleach for the energy world. So as I'm removing the congestion off of you and spraying the crystal and spraying my hands, it's keeping the space clean, right? So I don't get the disease-congested energy stuck to me. Does that make sense? I know Hinduism, there is some type of vibration from Shiva Lingam of the people. Yeah, correct. Yeah, actually the Shiva Lingam also helps with developing clairvoyance. Yeah, there are many, many priceless teachings within Hinduism. Okay, moment of truth. No promises, right? Someone, move your right shoulder and just tell me roughly where you are. Before it was a 6. We did about 5 minutes of healing. It's a little bit more difficult because I can't see you face to face. We're not interacting with one another in real time, right? So it's a little bit more challenging, but we did what we could. So where's your pain level now? This stream has gone on for almost 35 minutes. It's honestly still the same? Okay, no problem. No problem. Thank you for the feedback. Feel free to message me if you're up for it in a half hour. Right? Sometimes it takes longer for the energy to be assimilated by the person, right? It takes time. So I'll leave you guys with this. What are the factors? What are the factors that determine whether somebody heals quickly, heals slowly, or doesn't heal at all? This is an important thing I had to learn over my 20 years of doing this work. So number one is the condition. So if the person has a severe condition, it takes more time and more energy to heal. So for instance, if somebody has had a headache for a couple hours, it's not as ingrained in the energy body than if the person has a severe chronic migraines for 10 years, right? So the severity of the condition is number one. Number two is how long have they had it, right? So one is the intensity, the severity. The other one is how long have they had it. So if you had it for a couple days or you've had it for a couple years, right? It's going to take longer to heal if you've had it for a couple years. Number three is the proficiency of the healer. So a basic pranic healing graduate who just took a weekend class, they're not most likely going to be as proficient in doing the healing protocols as someone who's been practicing for 5, 10, 15 years. Does that make sense? So the proficiency of the healer, the effectiveness of the healer. The next factor is the age of the person. The age of the person. Have you noticed that if a child trips, falls, and breaks a bone or hurts themselves, their recovery rate is very, very quick versus an elderly person who falls, breaks a hip, breaks a bone, has a cut, and it can take months to heal, right? What's the difference? The younger somebody is, in general, their energy body, their chakra system is spinning faster. It's absorbing fresh energy faster, using it faster, and releasing it faster. As we get older, our energy body is less efficient on absorbing fresh energy, using the energy, and releasing energy. Make sense? So usually younger people heal faster than older people in general. And then the other factor is the receptivity of the person, which I kind of talked about earlier. So if a person is not receptive, you can be mentally not receptive, emotionally not receptive, and physically not receptive. So what do I mean by that? So somebody goes, asks the question, do you want healing? And the person mentally says, I don't think it's going to work. I don't believe in this. This is hocus pocus. This is all placebo. This doesn't matter. So the person has mental resistance, which is going to slow down the healing effect. Number two is the emotional receptivity. Maybe they don't like the healer, right? If you don't like the person doing work on you or healing on you, your receptivity is going to be less. Make sense? Number three would be physical receptivity. So let's say somebody says, okay, do your best, heal me, and they cross their arms, or heal me, and they cross their legs. Is that person physically receptive? Not so much. So the healing is going to take longer for that person to heal because they're not receptive. And then the last factor that nobody really ever talks about is the karmic factor, right? The karmic factor. So what's the karmic factor? Basically, if we follow the protocol and the protocol has been proven to reduce the condition by 85%, and after 3 or 4 healings, the person's condition is improving, it could be karmic in nature. And then if it is karmic in nature, we recommend people do other things to increase their karmic entitlement to being healed and then come back for healing, right? And that's not in all cases, right? Those are usually in very severe cases, like cancer, diabetes, some extreme physical condition or psychological condition that's been long-term. That's usually karmic in nature. Not that healing won't work, but there are other things that need to be considered, other factors that need to be considered to help the person heal faster. It is true that the Om is the universal vibration of peace and care. It's the sound of creation, yes. I'm too much attracted by Hinduism. I am thinking myself to convert from Catholicism to Hinduism. Yeah, I was actually brought up in Massachusetts, and you know, there's a joke that everyone has to be a Catholic being born in Massachusetts, but I was brought up in Catholicism, and my first pranic healing mentor was actually a Catholic priest, funny enough, who was also a pranic healer. And one of the top pranic healing masters in pranic healing was a former Mother Superior, right? But all kinds of people can practice pranic healing, whether you're Catholic, whether you're Hindu, whether you're Buddhist, whether you're atheist, whether you're agnostic, doesn't matter, okay? So to the person who got the healing, someone, it's kind of funny to say that, but someone who got the healing, please keep me posted. Let me see the energy. Let me recheck here. It's interesting, if you compare the two shoulders now, there's more prana in the right shoulder than in the left shoulder, but the prana hasn't been fully absorbed. Okay, so something I can recommend to you over the next, half hour to an hour is just giving thanks. Thank you for the healing, thank you for the healing, thank you for the healing. And as you're practicing gratitude, not to me, right, but to God, where all healing comes from, the energy can be better absorbed into your system, going back to the principle of receptivity, right? One of the factors as to why we heal. Not saying you're not receptive, but as I'm scanning the energy hasn't been fully absorbed by your system. So it's still on the outer periphery as opposed to being assimilated. What God? The universal God. In Hinduism, it's known as the Para Brahman, right? The supreme God, the supreme being. Okay? So on that note, guys, thank you very much for joining our first live ever on YouTube. We plan on doing this over the next week, doing a live every single day over the next week. And if you got value out of this, please leave a like, please leave a comment, please share this on your YouTube channel, or I don't know, however you guys share stuff. You're very welcome for the information. My absolute pleasure. I love sharing my teacher's teachings with people, and we'll be doing more healing moving forward. So on that note, this is Christian Long with the Inner Transformation Group, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.